So you learned calligraphy, now what? Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name's Tina and I make videos on lifestyle and DIY projects every single week. And today's video is all about calligraphy projects that you could do after learning calligraphy. I've made a few videos on the basics of calligraphy on my channel before, but now I want to offer you some project ideas that are really fun and creative and also gets you to practice it more. Because if you're not practicing it enough, you're probably going to lose that muscle memory. So to keep your calligraphy skills on point, I have 15 project ideas that you can do. I think there's 15. I think there might be 16, but close enough. And a lot of these projects I have done before in the past or I plan to do in the future. But I thought that I would share this with you guys because there's so many fun projects that you can do with calligraphy. So let's start with the first one. Okay, so I'm gonna scoot over so then you could see all the beautiful projects I'm about to put on the screen here. So for this first project is a name sign in calligraphy. And I've definitely have seen these in wood or acrylic before, but that requires a lot of power tools or laser cutting tools. But I made my own version by using a foam core board and just writing in calligraphy and marker and then using an X-Acto knife to cut it out. It worked out pretty perfectly, and then I covered the whole thing in gold glitter and then I attached it to a wreath. You can leave it as is, but it just looks so good. I wish I had more clips of this, but maybe I can do a tutorial in the future. But this was such a fun and inexpensive way to get the same look by using basically two different tools. So if you want to make your own signs with your calligraphy, I would definitely recommend this technique because it was just so simple and looks so good. Another way that you can incorporate your calligraphy is using it every single day in something like a bullet journal or your planner. And I've been bullet journaling on and off for a while, but it just allows me to get so creative with all my different spreads and themes throughout the months. But if you're not one to keep your own planner, try using it for your work planner. And this allows you to practice calligraphy in a very simple way, but it's so nice to be practicing it for a purpose. So for my work journal, I actually just do all the titles in calligraphy. Should I copy? This is an old one here. Oh, my nails are gross. So as you can see for my headers, I do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then I also do the month. So just doing something like this is just a nice way to practice your calligraphy and also just have something really beautiful to look at every day. And I do get creative with it sometimes, like I'll use highlighter to kind of make it a little bit more fun, I guess. So I definitely recommend a bullet journal or a work journal just like this one. This one was really cheap. I think it was like 10 bucks on Amazon, so I will link this one down below, but would highly recommend a journal. So if bullet journaling or a planner is not your thing, try using it in your note-taking, especially if you're a student. I follow some study accounts, even though I'm not in school anymore. But on those accounts, they're always using calligraphy in their headers just to make it look pretty. And that way, I think it motivates you to study more or memorize it better. I think there is a benefit to doing this, but regardless, it just looks really pretty and just keeps things looking a lot more organized. And if you're not in school, you can definitely use calligraphy in just note-taking in general or creating lists for your grocery runs and Target runs and to-do lists. I mentioned this idea in my previous video, but I think a really fun way for you to work on a calligraphy project is to join a challenge, and specifically a challenge that is on Instagram or Pinterest. It is just so much fun to put your own creative spin when it comes to doing a challenge. So if you're not familiar, usually an account will make a list of different topics or words or themes for the whole month or the week, whatever the duration of the challenge is, but it just gives you an opportunity to get really creative and just write words and do different projects that you wouldn't have done otherwise. So I definitely would recommend you joining a challenge, like a word of the day or a quote of the day, and I will link some down below in the description box. This next idea is something that I've never done before, and I definitely want to get my hands on one of these, and that is to emboss your calligraphy. I just think that gold embossing just looks so beautiful, and embossing videos are so satisfying to watch. And if you haven't seen a video on embossing, you definitely need to, because you basically are writing with a special material on the paper or whatever surface, and you basically put on this magical powder on top of the writing, and then you use a heat gun or a blow dryer. I'm not really sure what the tool is, and that's why I need to get into embossing. But basically it just melts the powder into this beautiful liquid, shiny, beautifulness. I don't really know the specific process. I just know that I've seen too many videos of it. But I think embossing is such a fun idea that you can do on a book cover. So things like a guest book or your vow book, or even to personalize other items like a suitcase. Like I think that's something that I would totally be into, embossing a suitcase. Just throwing it out there. But there's so many things that you can emboss, and just using calligraphy on embossing will be that much more beautiful. So this next idea is for those of you guys who are interested in making digital art, and that is to digitize your calligraphy. So you could do this on programs like Illustrator, or you can also do it on an iPad or a tablet with your Apple Pencil or stylus, and that is one of my favorite ways. I will also take this opportunity to plug in my favorite app on the iPad, which is Procreate, and that has allowed me to make some beautiful pieces of artwork with calligraphy. And this app is awesome because I can make so much with my Apple Pencil and my iPad. But I know that you can also turn your calligraphy into digital art by just working on pen and paper, scanning or taking a picture of it, and then vectorizing it on a program like Illustrator. So if you haven't ever thought about making digital art with your calligraphy, I would highly suggest that you try it. These next 3 ideas are for all you party animals out there, and the first is obviously making paper goods for a party. So things like invitations, envelopes, banners, place cards. So this definitely applies to weddings, but when it comes to any party that I'm planning for the future, I am for sure going to use my calligraphy skills here. Another fun party idea with your calligraphy is to put it on a cake. So you could do this in a number of ways, like straight up just putting frosting on your cake, but you can also use your calligraphy to make a cake topper, or even using a food dye to write directly onto your cake, on a fondant cake specifically. And I will obviously have some examples right here, but I think it just looks so beautiful and adds a nice personal touch to your cake. This next idea is one that is a little bit more obvious, and that is to make signs. So whether that is for a wedding or for signs in your home, you can use so many different materials to write your calligraphy on to make a sign. So you can use wood, glass, acrylic, mirrors, chalkboard, or even just straight up foam core like I've done for my bridal shower. But really there are so many different signs that you can make with calligraphy, and I'm hoping to make something nice for my kitchen coming up. But yeah, signs, super obvious one, but I had to include it. Okay, I'm not even sure what number we're on right now, but this next one is something that I have dabbled in a little bit. I definitely want to do more with it, and that is to create stickers with my calligraphy. And as someone who is super obsessed with stationery, I have always wanted to create my own stickers. So I do have a printer right over there that I bought to make stickers. I just haven't done it yet. And I definitely want to make stickers for my bullet journal, but there's so many things that you can make stickers for. So for example, you can make decals for laptops and water bottles, or you can make labels for kitchen organizing. And if you have a cutting machine like a Cricut or a Silhouette, I definitely think that making stickers would be such a fun project. But if you don't have a cutting machine, there are different ways that you can make stickers. So for example, you can buy label paper and print it out at home, or you can use a service like Redbubble or Sticker Meal to personalize your own stickers. And I will leave some resources down below if you're interested in making stickers. Another fun calligraphy project idea is to make cards and prints. And personally, card making was one of the first projects that I did when I first learned calligraphy. So I definitely think that card making is the perfect opportunity to create a fun project. So whether it's for someone's birthday, graduation, or a holiday, card making is just the perfect time to try out new techniques and get really creative with your calligraphy. This next one is not one that's really relevant right now because it is only springtime, but it is to make ornaments. And I did this last Christmas to personalize some of our ornaments on our tree. I just didn't want to pay to buy a brand new set of ornaments, so I ended up making some of my own, and I incorporated my calligraphy in those, and they came out so good. I also made a video on it, so I will link it down below. I had a lot of fun making some of these ornaments, and the best part was it cost me, I think, less than $20 to make a whole thing of ornaments. So definitely keep this project in mind for when the holidays roll around. Another fun project you can try out is personalizing some clothing or some accessories. So just by using some fabric paint, you can really personalize an item with your calligraphy. And I think this looks super cute on a leather jacket, as I have shown before on my channel, but I'm going to pitch this idea again because I'm still so obsessed with it, and hopefully one day I can paint a leather jacket. But until then, it is on my list of things to write calligraphy on. This next idea is one that is a little bit out there, but I don't think it is too far of a stretch because I've definitely seen people do this, and that is to use calligraphy in tattoos. Because you never know when someone might want to get your handwriting tattooed on their body. I've seen people ask their parents to write down a phrase and then they get it tattooed. So if that happens to you, you will at least be prepared with some beautiful calligraphy to hand over to them to put on their body forever. But I just thought this was a fun one to throw out there in case you are getting a tattoo and you don't want to use a font. You can always use your own calligraphy. Okay, we are nearing the end of the list, and this next one is a really fun one that I hope to one day have in my home one day, and that is a neon sign in calligraphy. I've seen these floating around on Instagram and Pinterest, but you can definitely get someone to custom make your calligraphy or your handwriting into a neon sign. So this is definitely a unique idea to incorporate in your home or your business or even for your wedding. But I thought that I would include it in this list because it's definitely something that I want to have in the future. And yeah, a neon sign. And of course, I couldn't complete this list without talking about plants, even for just a tiny bit of the time. But for this last idea, it is incorporating calligraphy on your plant pots. And I think I'm honestly going to do that right after this video because I have some pots that I want to spruce up. But yeah, instead of buying a plant pot with something on it already, why not DIY it yourself for super cheap? And that is it. Those were all of my calligraphy project ideas. I hope that this video has brought you guys some inspiration and has sparked a new project idea. Even as I was coming up with this list, it definitely sparked some ideas for me. So I can't wait to make some of these projects myself. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps out my channel. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I make videos every single week and I would love to have you here. And if you make any of the projects listed in today's video, please tag me on Instagram. I would love to see what you create. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!